Hey, so here we go. We got episode, I don't know what episode, but part 4.
Part 4.
Part 4 of On Being a Servant of God, Principles of Servitude, right? We've been going through the book, Warren Wiersbe, On Being a Servant of God. Just a little prac app. And it's,
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty heavy. This one was super, super good, dude.
I didn't expect this chapter to come at me like this.
What's the title? What title did Myung title it?
She wrote. This is the first time I'm reading it. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Love the hedgehogs. Hedgehogs need more love.
Oh, dang. That's good.
She's so crazy. She's a hedgehog.
I was going to say, did she put Aaron?
I'm going to find out when I go home.
Yeah, you're going to. So who are the hedgehogs? She'd be like, I don't remember doing that.
Am I hedgehoggy?
That's funny. Well, we can talk about that later.
What
But
did you title yours?
The Servant's Heart. Yeah, not as deep.
You went safe.
Not one safe. Right. All right. So this was speaking of hedgehogs. So what, fill us in. What's the whole thing with the hedgehogs?
Oh my word! So he jumps right in. He says, like hedgehogs, some people are as the genus Erinaceus. The closer you get to them, the more they stick you with their protective quills.
You want to help them, but if you do, you're going to get hurt. And think about it, the protective quills. Like, what have we been talking about the last couple of
Building them walls, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, I'm okay. Fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or you get the people who instead of just the I'm just going to keep you at bay, they attack you to ensure that you stay at bay for the future.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And he says that's why we need love.
Yes.
Ministry takes place, and this is what he's been talking about, when divine resources meet human needs through loving channels to the glory of God. If the motivation for our service is anything less than Christ's love, his love for us and our love for him, our ministry will not really meet human needs or glorify God.
So, and then he skips down and goes 2 Corinthians 5:14. For the love of Christ compels us. So you take that verse along with the end of what you just said. His love for us and our love for him. Mm-hmm. Not our love for the person or the situation.
Oh,
right?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Because what does he go on further to say? You and I ain't got that kind of power, bro. We ain't got that kind of love. So when I turn and blur out the situation or the person and I'm looking to Christ, now I'm looking for his love. He provides me his love. And then like the moon, I can reflect that love onto any and everyone that he wants me to.
Well, that goes back to us when we're talking about zeroing in a weapon, right?
Yes.
Right?
Same exact thing.
Same exact thing.
Same exact thing. Yeah. I mean, that one really stuck in me because I was like, he's not, because I wrote it. I was like, the love of or for Christ, not others. Like, you will eventually get to love those others, but we have to love Christ first.
Yeah, because you can't love out of you.
Out of our own selfish desire, out of
Your own strength. Like, okay, I just need to love them. You can't, because you are so clouded by whatever has happened. But if I look at Christ, right, like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what I'm focused on. Like, it doesn't, like, that's what I got to stay focused. Like, all right, Peter, on the water, right? Just keep, hey, just look over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, when he was focused on Christ and he was moving towards him, walking on the water. Yeah. And then what did it say he did?
He took his eyes off of him.
And got fearful of the storm that he was in.
Yeah.
And instantly he's sinking. I mean, that is the most simplest, plainest story to represent how we act consistently on a daily basis, allowing our focus to get off of Christ and onto the immediate storm, what's going on in our life.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, because it's always...
And a storm could be just, I got to wake up and go to work. You know what I mean? What else you got?
It's so funny because, like, right there, I got to get up to right. If the worker doesn't get a blessing out of the work, something is radically wrong. Serving God isn't punishment; it's nourishment. Jesus said, "My food is to do the will of Him who sent me, and to finish His work."
Yes, I started that one.
Yeah, I got some fire on this next page.
Yeah.
Dude, look at this. Like, I have more highlighted than...
That's crazy. Look, you cannot read them the entire chapter.
I know.
Do you like have highlights inside of your highlights?
So here we go.
Okay.
Serving God means working with people, and people not only have problems, but they can be problems because of the way they deal with their own needs. Like, dude, that statement right there, I was like, oh my gosh, that's like...
Yeah.
People can be right, like that goes with that saying. Have you ever heard like where it's like the heart of the matter is a matter of the heart? Have you ever heard that?
Say that again.
The heart of the matter is a matter of the heart.
Yes, 100.
Right,
yes.
But according to the heart, and that's the complete right. But I got to read it again. Serving God means working with people, and people not only have problems, but they can be problems because of the way they deal with their own needs. This is a mirror. I'm not like directing this towards anybody. It's like, oh, shoot. Yeah. They grow invisible protective quills to keep others at a distance. And unless you really love these people, you can never help them.
Yes.
What do you got?
He goes pretty deep so we must not be blind to their needs as people in need, to their needs or ignore them, nor must we use their needs as opportunities to promote ourselves. Yeah. This is the key right here, which I was like, oh man. He goes, but the people we're trying to help in ministry may take any or all of these same approaches to their own problems. And I was like, oh, I did not even think about that. Because think about it. If you're doing ministry in your own power, when those difficult, prickly people do that, you're done, right?
Yeah.
You're hot, you're angry, you might quit, whatever, but only with the love of Christ are you going to be able to power through that, right?
Yeah.
Because that blows your mind. That like, okay, I'm moving past all this stuff because I don't want to take advantage of you in your time of need. Yeah. And they're like, oh no, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I'm in need.
Yes,
Whoa,
exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. And you know what? So our local police officer was just in here, and she was saying that exact thing, right? Where it's like when people are in a dire situation, they will take advantage of, right? Yeah. Yes. Some people are blind to see their real needs, and constantly want to go on a detour. Other people choose to ignore their needs and perhaps blame somebody else. And there are people who have learned to exploit their needs to get what they want from others. They can't afford to solve their problems because their whole lifestyle is built on them.
You just mentioned this in the last podcast.
This third group is perhaps the hardest to help.
Because it's like a coat, right? Yeah. Like I gotta wear this. Because that's how I get fed.
That's that whole victim mentality, dude. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like no. Like this is what it is, and that's why. And here's the thing that gives that's their open door for excuses.
Yeah. It's like a bath that they're bathing in, right?
Yeah.
And it's just constant. Yeah. It's crazy. I like the quote that he says that justice seeks out the merits of the case. We who are servants of God don't deserve his grace any more then the ones we are serving deserve it. And who are we to limit God's grace and mercy?
Yeah.
That is humbling.
Yeah, that's super humbling.
Because it speaks to the fact that we all kind of like to forget where we came from, right?
Yeah,
so
it's easy.
So now I'm a mature Christian, and this person who may possibly not even know God, or they know God, but oh my word, they're not doing this and they're not doing. Bro, stop! What are you doing? Like
that was when we were doing the Beta Satan. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in the Beta Satan. I read it to you out of a different book.
Yeah.
But when it was talking about like it was I think it was talking about expectations.
Yeah, because expectations have everything to do with how we view ourselves, right? The higher I view myself,
yes,
the higher my expectations are.
Yeah, and the lower, yes,
the lower I think of you and you and you and you and you. Yes.
Yeah. And we forget that, hey, you were at that point at one point, because none of us are grow to maturity overnight like that.
No. The sanctification process is going to be until I leave this earth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. We must also love the truth. This is at the bottom. We must also love the truth that God has given us. Psalm 119. If truth and love contradict each other, something is amiss. If truth and love.
Yes.
So Warren Wiersbe, love this dude. Truth without love. Truth without love is hypocrisy. No. I'm sorry. No, love without truth is hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. Truth without love is brutality.
Oof. Yes. Very true.
Here, I don't know if you got this one also, top of 25. Mm-hmm. Many of us confess that we are not capable of loving people the way Jesus loves them and us. We do our best practice, 1 Corinthians 13, but it doesn't always last. But that's the manufacturer mentality again.
Attempting to serve in our own power, right?
Yeah.
And again, I hate to state in our own power, because this is my personal belief, and I think it's kind of accurate. Like, we don't have any power. Like, let's just be clear about that. We always say, "Oh, trying to serve in my own power." Well, you're trying to serve in your own attempted power. How about that? Because like, what did God say that those efforts are in the Bible? Worthless. Hey, straw, right?
Yeah.
So then that's not power.
Yes, no, it is not power, but you can muscle it in there though. You know what I mean?
There's the memory. He's like, I'm gonna argue with you on this.
But you can muscle it in, dude.
No,
like
100%. Dude, it's like semantics. But yes, like, I just tell myself that because it's like, I don't even want to make the mistake of attempting to power myself through something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but yes, we 100% attempt to get through things a lot under our own power. And I mean, what's our battery compared to?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Infinite power.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's like, all right, go for it. But that is all that credit that you got in that moment right there. That's all you're gonna get. Yeah. Like, that ain't gonna go anywhere else, because that was all you, buddy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. What else you got?
The love that we need for ministry is not a natural ability.
Yes.
It is a supernatural quality that only God can provide. Yes. When the people we serve irritate us or disappoint us, the first thing we usually do is pray for them. And this is what you and I were talking about, right? What we usually do is pray for them and tell the Lord to change them.
Yes.
Go ahead, you finish it.
No, go ahead.
What we ought to do first is pray for ourselves and ask God to increase. We should, like, this right here is just like,
I had to stop reading and ask the Lord for forgiveness, because I was like, oh, so that's for me. Like, my goodness, that's 100%. Like, yeah, constantly and continuous. Oh, dear Lord, help that person. No, I'm helping you right now. They got their own stuff, and I'll deal with them. This is for you.
Yeah. What we ought to do first is pray for ourselves and ask God to increase our love. Otherwise, this is what's crazy. Otherwise, we may give the devil a foothold in our own hearts, which will create problems the next time we try to minister to those people. And be kind to one another, even if they aren't kind to you. Tenderhearted, even if they hurt you. Forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you. Bro. Yeah. Dude, like that, like... When we get into situations that we're trying to help, and it comes out of frustration, right? The moment you like realize, like, oh, that right there is just that indicator, yes. Right? That's that indicator, like, okay, why are you so frustrated?
Yes.
Because if you're just doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're chugging along, like you should, like you should be ready for it and everything else. When you start getting frustrated, it doesn't mean that something's wrong, but you have to recognize, why am I frustrated?
Right.
And that's it right here. Hey, you know what? All right, Lord, I just have a realization, and it comes, right? Because sometimes, like, something so easy, like, oh, I'm just helping this person out, and whatever, we're like, it's all good, and like, oh, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, it wasn't about them, it was about me this whole time.
Yes.
And the Lord's like, yeah, bingo.
Yeah. Are you giving grace? Are you showing love?
Yeah.
I mean, so many questions you can start to ask, yeah.
Yeah, and you have, like, and here's the thing, like, if you just took the time, anytime that you just start, like, you get it, right? Like, oh, whatever it is, that's the moment that you have to be like, okay, Lord, what are you doing in this moment? What are we doing? What am I supposed to be getting out of this? Like, you know what? I thought it was about them, but it's obviously something that you want to do with me.
Yeah. And I think I am very guilty of that. Like, because you go into a situation attempting to minister in the Lord's will, right? And so and where's he saying it? He's like, yeah. He goes, you're focused on helping whomever you're going to help, but the Lord's working on the person you're trying to help and the servant. He worked on the disciples, right?
Yeah.
Did he send the disciples out to help others? But he also worked on the disciples, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, I was like mind blown. I was like, oh. I didn't even realize that, because you just forget about it and you're like, well, we're getting this task done,
dude. When it's funny because I'm at the point now, and not like in a bad way, but it's funny because like I'm at the point now when like something's like, oh really, like, oh great, here we go, and it's like great, right? because not because it's like, oh here we go, like this person, no, it's like, oh great. Another lesson that I need to learn. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Dude, that's how it comes. Like that. It's like,
that's good. You're like, oh, okay. It's lesson day.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, man. Come on, yeah. Lord. Like, okay.
That's it. That's it. Let's get.
What else you got?
Let's jump. However, when these difficulties come, our tendency is to pray for the deliverance instead of growth, which is what you were just talking about. How can I get out of this? Instead of what can I get out of this?
What page is that on?
That's on 26.
Yeah. Let me go back to 25 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
God is as concerned about the servant as he is He is the service. If all God wanted to do as it was to get the work done, he could send his angels and they could do it better. They could do it better and faster. Yep. But he not only wants to do something through us, he also wants to do something in us.
That's phenomenal.
And that's on that piggyback with what you said, right?
Yes.
It's to pray for deliverance, but what can I get out of this?
Yeah, 100. Because I mean that's me to a T. Like anytime a problem came, my instant thought was, "Dear Lord, get me out of this. Get me out of this."
Yeah.
And I would have to admit that I'm probably still am like that until like he calms me down and he's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, no, I'm not ready, but all right. What am I supposed to learn from this? And then we start walking, you know? But man, yeah, like that's hard because guess what? I like to be comfortable.
You do?
Shut up. No, I'm not. I'm so mad at you.
You guys heard it. You heard it right, like uncut and unraw right there. That's so funny. Well, and here's the way I look at it. Like, you know how where it's like you get your, like, obviously it's been a long time since I've been in school, but you get your test back and it's like, you got to do a retake. It's like, oh my God. That's why it's like, no, like, hey, can we just handle this? Like, I want to do everything that we can to now. I don't want any retakes. Like, because here's what's going to happen. This situation is going to like pass itself because guess what? He's doing a work in me. He's doing a work in somebody else.
Yes.
Okay. So what's going to happen is like, it's like, okay, well, that one passed, but guess what? It's going to pop itself up.
Yes.
It's different person. Same situation. Like, I don't want to take retakes. Yeah. Like, I want to handle this completely. So do you understand when, like, you're like, you did what? Yeah. We were talking about earlier, like, whoa, you did what? Yeah. Like, yeah, you're dude. Like, I'm like, bro, I told you, like, I'm going to do this, and this, and this. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And then I tell you how you did, and you're like, what? I don't want retakes.
Yeah, that's wise. I like it. That's very smart. You're like, he's teaching me how to swim, so I'm jumping in the deep end.
Yeah, like it's and like on the job training.
Yeah, and like that was my like fear for a decade or two, right? Is because I jumped into the deep end with no understanding of what it means to trust in the Lord and so on and so forth, and got burned for it to of my own accord, right? To the point that I'm like, nope, never doing that again.
Hey, bro, you know, like when you jump in the water, you're like,
bro, it's sinking. It sinks. I learned how to swim when I was 40. My teacher was like, "You're just gonna sink, Aaron. It's not a big deal." She's like, it is what it is.
You're just predisposed.
Yeah. She's like, it is what it is. I'm like, I'm cool with that. She's like, I'll teach you how to not die. I was like, thank you.
That's funny, dude.
But like, yeah. And so, but in God's graciousness, right? I'm like, fine. My good friend comes to me and goes, do you want to be made well? And I'm like, I don't need to be made well because I'm already a Christian. At least that's what I said in my head. And so I was made well by tearing down those walls that I had built because I was going nowhere in my Christian walk, right? Mm-hmm. In my sanctification, I was not growing, period, until those walls came down. And I had to start taking steps of faith. And as I started to take those steps of faith, yes, the situations would come up and I'm, but the Lord's like, let's go. Yep. You're not going to cower away from this. I'm going to take the yoke and we're going to walk through this. And more, your faith grows with those steps. And then he starts to show you, well, if we would have did this way back then, clown. Yeah. Because like now, wow, me and my wife really like each other. Oh my gosh, my relation with my kids is phenomenal right now. Like, you understand?
Yeah.
And it's like,
and it was always there.
It was always there. He always had it there waiting. But did I receive it?
Oh, yeah.
No. Did I trust his promises? No.
So you were that porcupine that she wrote about in that.
Of course.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. You'll meet. I should have read this before I'm about to read it, but you'll meet problem people and problem situations wherever you go.
Yes.
So make up your mind to expect them, accept them, and let God use them in your life, not what you thought was going to happen, right? And let God use them in your life. The devil wants to use problem people as a weapon to tear you down. But the Spirit can use them as a tool to build you up. The choice is yours. If you stay on the job and trust God to work, you'll experience His grace in wonderful ways, and you will be a better servant.
Powerful, powerful stuff.
God wants to use those situations in your life as an opportunity for you. The enemy wants to use the same situation for an opportunity against you.
Yeah, because he can get two with one stone, right? So if we're in service, if we're in ministry, if we're attempting to help others and bring them to Christ, if we don't react with the fruits of the Spirit, in the Spirit, and we offend, now what happens? So one, we failed to reflect Christ to this person, and two, we have just now
Fractured it.
yes, and sinned against the Lord.
Yep.
Right? And so that was like, yep, two with one stone, moving on. But that specifically states if we are doing it in the Lord's power and His love, it's not by us, but it's by Him.
Yeah. What are you going to, he says it right here. The choice is yours. What are you going to choose? You're going to choose to ignore it? And I hate to read this part too. But since I highlighted it, I highlighted the highlight. In Christian ministry, problems with people are among the most difficult to bear. And the people who have and cause the greatest problems are those who need us the most. That's why we must be loving channels no matter how people may respond to our ministry. It may take years before they allow the Lord to change them, and you may not even be on the scene when it happens.
Yep.
No matter, the Lord is at work, and He will finish what He has begun. That's Philippians.
Because whose work is it?
It's His word.
It's His work. We're just servants.
Like, don't miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
Don't miss that opportunity. Man, and don't put yourself in a place where you have to retake it.
Yes.
No retakes.
Yes. Just when the test comes, don't get sick and go to the nurse. Just take the test.
Just take it.
Just take. And trust. Trust in the teacher.
Ouch. I feel like I just hugged the porcupine. I read it this morning and I was like, oh man, yeah, I forgot about this chapter. And right now I feel like, I got all these protective quills that I just...
It hits.
It does hit. Well, so if you want to be in the trenches with us on being a servant of God, Warren Wordesby,
Wonderful book.
Highly challenge you to participate in the conversation.
Spitting truth.
Love you, brother.
Love you.